Today's video, where we're diving into a topic that is as fascinating as it is comp signs of married woman likes you, but is hiding it before we go any further. Let's set the record. Great. This isn't about encouraging you to cross boundaries or disrespect commitments. It's about understanding human behavior and picking up on the cues people might unconsciously give. Trust me, when you know what to look for, you'll start seeing the world and relationships in a whole new way. In this video, we're going to explore the subtle signals married women might send when they're interested in someone. Outside their relationship, we'll break down the psychology behind her body language, changes around you, these behaviors, and she finds excuses to be around you. Help you distinguish between innocent friendliness and something more intentional. Stick around, because these insights might just change how you interpret human interactions. Let's start by addressing the context. Why would a married woman presumably commit to develop feelings or show interest in someone else? Relationships are complex and marriages are no exception, while every situation is unique. There are some underlying psychological factors that can make this happen. First, let's consider emotional and psychological needs. In some cases, a woman might feel emotionally unfulfilled, filled in her marriage. Maybe she's not receiving the attention, validation, or connection she craves from her partner. This doesn't necessarily mean she's unhappy in her marriage. It could be as simple as feeling undervalued or overlooked in certain moments when someone else steps in and provides that missing piece. Even unintentionally, it can create a spark if it's important to understand that this isn't always about physical attraction. Sometimes it's the little things, someone remembering a small detail about her, noticing her new hairstyle, or giving her compliment that feels genuine. These moments can stand out, especially if they're rare in a current relationship. But here's where it gets tricky. The line between innocent and intentional behavior can be incredibly thin. Married women, like anyone else, can be friendly and engaging without any ulterior motive. It's crucial to differentiate between natural kindness and signals that suggest deeper interest. She maintains eye contact longer than usual, for example. Is she being friendly too? She finds ways to be near you, everyone in the room, or is her energy focused specifically on you? Does she go out of her way to connect with you in a way that feels deliberate? These are questions worth asking yourself. And we'll explore more about these subtle signals later in the video. Understanding this context is key, not just for interpreting the signals you might notice, but for navigating the situation with respect and maturity. Remember, the goal isn't to jump to conclusions or act on every perceived cue. It's to be aware of what's happening around you. Stay tuned, because in the next segment, we'll uncover the specific behaviors and body language cues that might reveal her hidden interest. You don't want to miss this. Have you ever found like someone's body language or the way they talk to you is sending a message that doesn't quite match the surface conversation? Well, when it comes to subtle signals from a married woman, the clues are often there, but they're wrapped in layers of discretion. 2. Today, we're diving into the body language and communication patterns that might indicate a married woman likes you, but is trying to keep it hidden. Let's start with the body language cues. They say, actions speak louder than words, and nowhere is this truer than with nonverbal communication. One of the most telling signs is frequent lingering eye contact. If she's holding your gaze as she compliments you, often little too long, or looking at you from across the room. More than once, it's not just coincidence. Eye contact is one of the oldest and most universal signals of attraction. When it lingers, it's often she engages in deep conversations, way of establishing a connection without saying a single word, but here's the catch. She's likely to look away quickly if she feels caught. It's the back and forth glance that gives her away. Another classic indicator, subtle grooming gestures. Pay attention to how she acts when you're nearby. Is she adjusting her hair, smoothing her clothes, or even lightly touching her neck? These gestures might seem insignificant, but they're deeply rooted in psychology. Grooming is often a subconscious response when someone wants to present their best self to someone they find attractive. It's her way of saying, "Notice me," without ever uttering a word. And then there's posture, the way she positions her body around. You can speak volumes if she's leaning in when you're talking, angling her body towards you or keeping her arms open and relaxed. It shows she's comfortable and engaged. On the flip side, if her posture changes dramatically when others enter the room, crossing her arms, stepping back, or looking away could mean she's trying to keep her feelings under wrap. Body language is often a game of contrast, so look for the shifts, but body language isn't the only thing that reveals hidden feelings. Let's talk about her communication patterns. Communication patterns when a married woman isn't interested in you the way she talks to. She gets nervous or fidgety around you. You often takes on a deeper, more personal tone for starters. She might be engaging more deeply in conversations than necessary. Maybe you asked a simple question and her answer turns into her. She acts differently when others are around. Detailed story about her life, her thoughts, or even her struggles. This isn't just about small talk, it's about connection when she's going out of her way to share or extend conversations. It's a sign she enjoys your presence and values your attention. Mention another clue lies in the small detail she remembers about you. Did you mention your favourite coffee a few weeks ago and now she's bringing it up casually? Maybe she knows your schedule or remembers something minor that even you forgot. This isn't random. When someone is interested in you, they pay attention sometimes more than you'd expect. It's her way of showing she's invested in the little things that matter to you. And then there are the compliments. Most people give compliments to be polite or friendly, but when they go beyond the surface, they carry a different meaning. A compliment like, "You're so funny," or "You're really smart," might sound innocent, but combined with the right tone or context text, it can reveal much more, especially if she's complimenting things that go beyond the obvious. Your personality, your ideas, or your effort. It's a sign she sees something special in you. What makes these communication patterns stand out isn't just what she says, but how she says it. There's often an underlying tone of interest, warmth, and engagement that's hard to fake if her words make you feel seen or valued in a way that feels different from casual friendliness. Pay attention, it might be more than meets the eye. So what's the takeaway here, whether it's through her body language or the way she communicates? The signs are often subtle, but they're there if you know where to look. And as we move forward, we'll explore even more ways to decode the signal she's sending. Stay tuned. Let's talk about one of the clearest indicators of hidden interest, the effort. The effort she makes to be around you when a married woman likes you, but is trying to keep it under wraps. Her actions might betray her intentions. One of the most telling signs is when she starts finding excuses to be in the same space as you. Maybe it's showing up at a meeting she texts or calls you more than expected. Normally attend conveniently, walking past your desk multiple times a day, or joining a group at activity. She shares personal details about her marriage. Part of these coincidences are often far from random. A subtle strategy to create proximity, even if she doesn't initiate direct contact. Another clue is a sudden interest in your hobbies or activities. Let's say you're into hiking and suddenly she's asking for tips on the best trails, or joining a hiking group she's never mentioned before. Or perhaps you're passionate about a specific book or show, and out of the blue she's reading it or bringing it up in conversation. This newfound interest isn't just curiosity, it's a way to create common ground and build a connection without making it up obvious. If you notice these patterns, they might be more than just friendly gestures. They could be her way of staying close while trying to keep her feelings under control. But here's where things get more complicated. Her behavioural signals, when behavioral signals she's hiding her feelings. Let's explore the hesitations and contradictions you might notice, starting with how she acts in public interaction. When others are around, she may avoid direct interaction with you. For instance, if you're in a group setting, she might seem more reserved or act as though she tries to hide her attraction. She barely notices you. This isn't because she's uninterested. It's often a attempt to deflect attention. She doesn't want others to pick up on her feelings, so she keeps her distance to avoid raising any suspicions. Ironically, this avoidance can be just as telling as her moments of engagement. Then, there's the tendency to withdraw quickly from conversations if others join in. Imagine you're talking one-on-one and the dynamic feels natural and engaging. But the moment someone else approaches, she becomes noticeably. She remembers small details about you, distant or abruptly ends the conversation. This sudden shift isn't random. It's likely a sign that she's worried about how her behaviour might be perceived. Her retreat is a way to protect herself from scrutiny and keep her feelings under wraps. What makes these hesitations stand? An internal struggle. On one hand, she feels drawn to you on the other. Guilt or fear of being caught keeps her from acting consistently. This behaviour might also change depending on the setting. If it's just the two of you, she could be warm and relaxed, but the moment someone else enters the picture, she becomes distant or even awkward. These mixed signals are often an attempt to balance her emotions while keeping her feelings hidden. The key takeaway: her inconsistency isn't random. It's her way of protecting herself while still navigating the connection she feels with you. Then, avoidance of explicit confirmation. There's the matter of avoidance of explicit confirmation. Even if the signs are all there, her lingering glances, her engaging conversations, her subtle efforts to be around you, she will likely avoid ever acknowledging her feelings outright. Why? Because admitting those feelings crossed is a line she's not ready or willing to face. This refusal to confirm doesn't mean her actions are unintentional. It simply highlights her internal conflict. If you bring it up, she might deflect, deny, or laugh it off. Her goal is to keep things, go accountability, while still maintaining the connection. What do you do if you find yourself in this situation? Here's how to handle it with integrity and respecting boundaries. Respect. First, let's talk about respect-bound boundaries. No matter how strong the signals are, it's essential to remember that this person is married. Her marriage is a commitment, and crossing that line could lead to consequences far beyond what either of you might anticipate. Take a moment to step back and think about the bigger picture. Is pursuing this connection worth the risk of hurting others, including yourself? Respect for her boundaries and her marriage is non-negotiable. Beyond that, consider the ethical implications. Now ask yourself if this situation aligns with your values. It's easy to get caught up in the moment, but it's crucial to think long-term. Sometimes the most respectful thing you can do is remove yourself from the equation. Assess your role, a log, together. Next, assess your role in the dynamic. Are you unintentionally encouraging her signals? Sometimes even well-meaning smile or casual compliment can be misinterpreted. Reflect on your behaviour. Are you setting the right tone, or could your actions be fueling the situation? If you feel you've been contributing, it's important to step back gracefully. This doesn't mean being cold or dismissive, but rather creating space for the situation to cool down. Limit one-on-one interactions, avoid overly personal conversations, and set clear boundaries in a kind but firm way. Communication and clarity. Finally, let's talk about communic and clarity. If the situation becomes uncomfortable or starts affecting your peace of mind, don't be afraid to address it, but do so with tact. You don't have to confront her directly about her feelings. Instead, focus on setting boundaries for yourself. Be clear about what's appropriate and what's not, and stick to those guidelines. For example, if her attention feels inappropriate, you could say something like, "I value our interactions, but I think it's important we keep things professional." This sends a clear message without causing unnecessary conflict by respecting her boundaries, assessing your own behaviour and setting clear your expectations. You can navigate the situation with integrity, and Grace, remember, your actions matter just as much as hers in shaping the dynamic. Stay mindful and true to your values. So what have we learned today? The subtle signs of attraction from a married woman can manifest in her body language, communication pattern, and efforts to be around you. Whether it's lingering eye contact, remembering small details about your life, or finding excuses to spend time with you. These signals often speak louder than words. But remember, mixed signals and hesitation in public interactions often indicate an internal conflict. Something you should never ignore. The most important takeaway here is awareness. Recognizing these behaviors doesn't mean acting on them. Instead, it's about understanding the dynamics at play and respecting the boundaries of her relationship. Healthy relationships, whether romantic or platonic, are built on trust, integrity, and respect. Avoid unnecessary complications by staying true to your values and fostering meaningful, ethical connections. In conclusion, while there may be several signs that suggest a married woman is attracted to you, it's important to approach these cues with caution and respect. Flirty behavior, frequent eye contact, or moments of personal connection could be indicators of her interest, but they may also stem from a variety of personal or situational factors. It's crucial to be mindful of her marital status and the potential consequences of any actions that might lead to complications in her relationship. Respectful boundaries, clear communication, and understanding are key to navigating any interactions with sensitivity and